Hi, my name is Jessy. I'm 54 years old. Right now, I'm working at Fatbird Bodog as an assistant manager. The major challenges that I had when I returned to Singapore and trying to find a job was looking for the right job that I felt I would be comfortable with. I had been going through friends to seek advice, and many of them had not been very helpful in the sense that they were providing only negative feedback as to what I shouldn't do or what I cannot do during an interview. That made it very confusing. I did get a couple of jobs, part-time jobs. One was at the Singapore Zoo as a tour guide, and the other one as a graphic designer in a small company in Singapore. Those jobs were nice, however, it did not fulfill my need in a more stable job for me to enjoy or spend my time with. The applications that I kept sending out were just completely felt like they were just a waste of time, but I still kept sending out with no replies at all. And so I decided that I really needed help, and I got advice from an individual to approach E2I to see what they can do to help me get a job. And in the beginning, I was very reluctant to do that because there was a certain amount of pride I had in myself, thinking that I could do this without any help from anyone else. But later, I realized that there was nothing wrong with doing that because there was a purpose in what E2I could offer in order to help me find the right job for me. When I first approached E2I, I had a chance to speak to a wonderful lady who helped me appreciate what I could do and what I could contribute in the job market. She had a wide knowledge of jobs that were available and asked me whether I would appreciate working in those areas. I was lowering the bar in terms of the jobs I really wanted to get, and I decided to get only the jobs that I felt were going to just help me get by and just make a little bit of money. When I was there, I was assisted by a wonderful lady who walked me to her office. At that time, I showed her my resume and I explained to her that I was really trying to look for a job that was professional and that I would actually appreciate the time working in that area, in this field, in any field that I was hoping to get in. She had a chance to look at my resume and my CV, and she had told me that my resume was not appropriate for Singapore, and so she was able to help me through that session in trying to help me correct some of the elements in my resume that were not appropriate. She helped me determine the best areas that I could work in and the best industries to get into for me to get a good enough job that I would be happy to work in. She had then also recommended that I take up a course in resume writing that was conducted at the E2I office. And from that session itself, I realized that I could make very significant changes to my resume that made it more impressive. And when that was done, I resubmitted my resume to the representative at E2I, and she was very happy to review it and tell me that it was much better than my previous resume. And that was very helpful because if I had not had a proper resume, I don't think I would have been able to go any further than just sending applications out. She also asked me to address work in certain areas of industry, and and so that was where I started focusing my efforts in. About 2 weeks after I had a talk with a representative from E2I, I got a call from FindSGJobs, and they'd asked me to come over for an interview with a company that might be interested in me. That was an IT job, and when I went there, the representative from FindSGJobs talked to me to find out whether, to give me an idea as to what the company was looking for and whether I would be comfortable with the kind of job that I'm looking at. When I attended the first one, they had actually talked to me a little bit to find out what areas of industry I was interested in, because even though I'd already expressed my interest in certain areas of industry, she had asked me just to make sure that I knew whether I really wanted to continue on that or expand my criteria. I appreciated SG Jobs because I felt I was making progress. Um, one of the biggest problems was trying to get an interview, because if you don't get an interview, you don't get a chance to speak to the employer to show them what you're capable of. The other thing is SG Jobs provided, Find SG Jobs provided that little bridge between myself and the employer, because they knew what I wanted to get or find in a job, and they were able to talk to the employers to find out what they were actually looking for employees. And in that moment, they had talked to me and explained to me what the criteria of the employers were, so that when I have that interview, I will then be a little bit more focused in going through that interview. Many times when I go to blind interviews, I tend to be very nervous, not knowing what I should say or how much I should say to get the employer to understand how I could contribute to the company. This way, during my first opportunity, during my first interview with SG Jobs, I actually did get a job offer. However, I didn't want to go for the job because it was a desk job. I really wanted to get a job that allowed me to be more physically active, and so I politely declined. And the representatives at FindSG Jobs are very happy to say yes, they will focus on the areas that I would rather work in. There was another opportunity I had with this company I'm working with, and just before the interview, the representative from FindSG Jobs explained to me what they were looking for and how I could contribute and what I could say to help contribute to my skills and effort. FindSG Jobs actually told me to go to the company, go to the restaurant, this restaurant I'm working at, to have a look at the restaurant and have a feel for it and see whether I would really like working there. Most of the time when I'm trying to go for job interviews, I am more or less caught blindsided as to wondering what kind of place I'm working at. And they were very, very encouraging in telling me to go to the restaurant, have a look at the restaurant, and then decide on my own whether I would like working in that restaurant. That was a great help, because during the interview itself, I did tell the employer, my potential employer, that I had gone to the restaurant and looked at it, and I liked the way the people worked in that restaurant. That was very encouraging to the employer, and that also made me feel confident that I might actually get this job. So as much as I can say, I find SG Jobs because they were a bridge between myself and the employer. They're neutral in the sense that they will find out what the employer wants, and they were also there to find out what I would look for in a job. I would like to share a few encouraging remarks. I am a Singaporean who is actually in my 50s, even though I don't look like it. And I would just want to say that I would not like anyone to feel ashamed when they are looking for a new job, or when they've lost their job, or they're trying to find a new job. It happens to all of us. It can happen, and there is an organization, E2I, and FindSG Jobs, that are there to help you find the job that you would actually appreciate. They'll even help you upskill yourselves, and you realize that whatever new skills you learn might be a great surprise to what else you're capable of doing. The other thing I would like to say is you can consider working in other areas of industry. That might actually be a refreshing change, and sometimes in this case it might be a little bit fun. If anyone who's working in a job that they might feel that they're unappreciated, there's always another job out there that you might actually enjoy. Some people might feel trapped in a job, but that's not true. Many people don't want to leave a job because it's the income, because they have a sustainable income and they don't want to lose it. But that doesn't mean that there are no other jobs available out there that you can consider. So for those people who are stuck in jobs that they are feeling run down, or are not being felt appreciated, then consider looking for another opportunity because there are opportunities in Singapore. There are also opportunities to upskill yourself, and the chances of upskilling yourself can be a great asset to you and to the companies you're working at. Anybody who's working right now needs to feel that they're not trapped or feel entrapped in one job. There are opportunities out there, and there are employers that are willing to hire you. E2I is there. FindSGJobs.com is there.